guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we...
Oops, a daisy.
Off to a great start. This is how much practice we've lost. Hey guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are...
Those Annoying Vegans! And here we are again, back at the table for another mukbang.
Where have we been, you might be asking?
Oh my goodness.
We have a lot to catch up on, but first... we wanted to show you what we are eating.
Yes.
And if you would like to grab some delicious whole foods to eat with us while we talk during this mukbang, please feel free to do so.
What did you make for us today, Anna?
I made a whole food, oil-free pea soup, split pea soup to be exact. And for that, I used homemade veggie stock, which you can find the recipe for on our channel. I have garlic, onions, split peas, wild rice, and potatoes.
Ooh.
Oh, and herbe de Provence,
Ooh.
which is just a combination of herbs. You can just throw in any herbs you'd like.
Smells delicious.
Yes.
If you can smell it through the YouTubes. When is YouTube going to do smell-o-vision? Okay.
It's really good.
You do salt and pepper in here too?
Yeah. Pinch of salt. Lots of pepper.
That's the thing about soups. They get better. They get better every day.
I know.
You just let them marinate. Just let them sit there and simmer in their own deliciousness.
Soup is good for any season. It's spring, it's hot today, and I'm still enjoying soup. Let's show you what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Our new t-shirts.
Saved by the
Kale.
Kale.
For all you 90s TV lovers, you
That's
recognize this.
And of course, Vegan House, which we realize that now the young kids are only familiar with Fuller House. So maybe we should have done Veganer House, but then it just gets you're way out in the weeds with the joke at that point.
Let's keep it simple.
So yeah, we have the unisex crew neck tee here, and we also have the women's crop tee.
It's a crop top. And we have new pins.
We don't physically have them with us now, but we will put a picture of them up now.
You're gonna love them.
There you go.
As well as our Compassion is Contagious pins, which you can find on our Etsy store as well. Look it's coming along. It's coming along. I have new pins up. I have a little orca pin here. It's yeah.
Got a lot on there.
A lot of pins. Guys, oh my gosh. Where do we start? Okay, so first of all, we have been going to 3 vigils a week. As always, it's been about a year of this now. A year going to the pig vigils twice a week, and half a year of going, almost a year, hosting the cow and chicken vigils. And check this out, you guys.
What you are seeing is the front page of the LA Times a few weeks ago. They covered our pig vigils, and you can see Anna and I right here in this photo.
And the week after that, F.A. America, which is the Hispanic version of NPR, also came to cover our vigils. This is me. And that made it international news. And since then, we've also been featured in the Chicago Tribune, NBC News in LA, and even an Australian news channel came to cover that. This is huge. We have also rescued another rooster. This makes our 4th animal that we've rescued from this slaughterhouse. It's just been incredible. It's incredible. And because we rescued another rooster, we actually had to build an entirely new enclosure for him at the sanctuary, because the sanctuary was overpopulated with roosters. And actually, they ended up doing some rearranging because one of the roosters passed away recently, and so they put Jose, the new rooster, in with all those hens, and now the enclosure we're building is actually going to be for Patty and Max. So the video, we're working on it, will be up soon. But at the last chicken vigil, this past Friday, we were given some really sad news. One of the truck drivers, in fact, the truck driver who helped us rescue Patty, I was showing her pictures of Patty and video, and you know, she was just so overjoyed. And I was telling her about the other chickens we rescued and about Jose, and I told her, you know, we named Jose after the truck driver who helped us. And she said that Jose had passed away. And we immediately thought, no, that's not possible. We just saw him 2 weeks ago. And she's like, he was killed on the job in Pacoima. He was operating the forklift and an SUV hit him. And we were still in disbelief, so we called our friend over, and he pulled up the video, and she confirmed that it was him. We've been mourning his loss. You really remember that who you're fighting for, because we're not only fighting for the animals here, we're fighting for these people who have really dangerous jobs. They are so misunderstood. You know, slaughterhouse workers, meat processing, plant...
slaughter truck drivers.
Slaughter truck drivers. And I think we're gonna probably end up making a video about this issue, because what we've learned when doing vigils is that these employees are also victims. And more often than not, they show incredible compassion when it comes to what we're trying to do.
And 2 out of the 4 chickens that we were able to save from slaughter, we were only able to save them because of 2 of these workers. The people who work at slaughterhouses or the people who drive slaughter trucks, they're not bad people. A lot of them don't want the job that they have. It's the best job that they can get for themselves at the time.
It stinks that we won't be able to show Jose, you know, what he helped us do, what he's responsible for. He literally saved a life before he before he left us. So.
And he didn't have to. He chose to give him to us. That was a wonderful act of kindness and compassion, and it will always be remembered by us.
We've also been shooting these 1-minute nugget videos, which you've probably seen some of already up on YouTube, because we thought we're shooting these for Instagram, but why not put them up on YouTube as well, you know, give you guys the benefit of those. We went to Yosemite for our first vacation in 2 years.
Yeah, we took 3 days to ourselves.
And that was amazing, and we're editing that video so you guys can come along on what was just one of the most beautiful adventures we've been on.
But we got enough requests from you guys that we did want to make this video. We were asked by you to respond to 2 YouTubers, Rawvana and Raw Alignment, because they are no longer vegan. Now, right up front, we don't really watch Rawvana or Raw Alignment. In fact, I had never even heard of Raw Alignment until we were told that she's no longer vegan. So, not really familiar with their channel, unlike Bonnie and Rebecca, who we were familiar with. But we did watch their no longer vegan videos, and we have some thoughts.
So here we go. First of all, there's no such thing as raw vegan, you guys. Just in the same way that there is no such thing as I'm 80% vegan, or I'm an ethical vegan, which is redundant, or I'm a health vegan, or I'm fully vegan.
I'm a high carb vegan.
Yeah.
I'm a keto vegan.
For the, I don't know how manyth time, you're either vegan or you're not. Okay? Vegan means one thing, and it is an ethical lifestyle that we choose to live by that excludes the consumption and exploitation of animals insofar as is practicable and possible.
And so it appears that neither of these 2 YouTubers are vegan or were vegan because, as we said, once you make the connection, you make the ethical connection, you realize that eating animals and their secretions, their products, is wrong. You actively choose to not participate in the violence, and you're vegan. So you don't go back on that decision.
No.
In the same way that once you decide that, like, slavery is wrong, or racism is wrong, or sexism is wrong, or homophobia is wrong, you know, these aren't things that you go back on.
Yeah.
These are ethical principles to live by. They may have been eating a plant-based diet, just so happens it didn't contain any animal products, but not vegan.
Neither of them were fully into the ethics. Raw Alignment even flat out admits
this has never been a vegan activism channel.
And so you guys know, you will never see a no longer vegan video from us.
Nope.
Because we are vegan.
Yeah.
Period.
So once you're vegan, you're vegan. There are some similarities between the 2, Rawvana and Raw Alignment, as well as Bonnie Rebecca, who we already talked about, made 2 videos about her, as well as like people like Tim Sheaf, although Tim Sheaf openly admitted to drinking his own and other people's urine.
I drank my own urine for 2 years, almost every single day for 2 years.
3 people here have drank each other's piss, drank each other's piss, drank each other's piss.
Stop it. Get some help.
And so a person who consumes a literal waste product, not really the best source of health information.
Gonna take them too seriously.
So yeah, I mean, if someone was just like, dude, you know what I've been doing? I've been drinking my own pee.
Who does that?
A, who does that? And B, who is enticed by that? Like, oh, are you drinking urine? I gotta get in on this. Tell me more about the urine drinking diet.
One of the things we've noticed across the board from this handful of I'm no longer vegan people is that for some reason they were hiding all these ailments for all these years that they never told you guys about. And then, you know, the one video where they come out saying that they're no longer vegan, they're like,
oh, by the way,
I had all
this
these
stuff going on.
things.
At this point, it had been so far past a chronic health condition. It had been years that it was progressively getting worse.
And I've been having some problems for a little while now. I'm going to try and briefly summarize everything that happened over the last few years. A lot of the times when I was really struggling, I didn't show it.
But we are going to talk about some of the things that we think they did wrong.
So the first thing,
Raw vegan diet. The raw vegan diet, I adopted raw veganism. I was really into this raw food, raw vegan diet. I was eating at the time a low-fat raw vegan diet.
I lived on a fruit farm and tried eating raw vegan.
We like dove headfirst into like raw foods.
I don't know who started this raw diet thing, but it has nothing to do with veganism.
No.
If you choose to eat all raw food, that's a choice that you made for whatever reason you made it, but it's not veganism. Veganism does not require you to eat raw food. It's just as much of a fad or a trend as the carnivore diet. You're just on either ends of the spectrum. It's two extremes.
Yeah.
If you screw up your health on a raw diet, that's not veganism's fault. That's a poor diet.
Eating a balanced diet is the general consensus amongst all medical professionals, whether they recommend a vegan diet or not.
Who are these people that are like, yeah, just eat fruit, man. Just fruit.
12 mangoes in one sitting. How does that even make sense? They're low in calories, they're high in sugar and acid. Not saying they're bad, just saying that you can have too much of a good thing.
Or too little of a good thing.
Or too little.
Fruit's very low in iron, fruit's very low in protein, fruit's very, fruit doesn't have everything we need.
It's part of your complete diet.
Yes, part of a balanced breakfast. So I just don't know what information they're using to support this. The other thing is like a lot of these raw channels are kind of on like a health journey.
My dietary journey, my healing journey.
That's how my journey started.
I'm on a journey. I want to find my spiritual health, man. I want to cleanse, man. What's wrong with eating beans or potatoes or split peas or oats, like complex carbohydrates that are cooked?
What's wrong with cooking food? Let me just... This is from the GI Society, Canadian Society of Intestinal Research. Not a vegan website. It's just about intestinal health. It's true that the act of heating up food while cooking can destroy certain nutrients. Vitamin C is a fairly unstable compound, and exposing it to oxidation and high heat can damage it. The method of cooking can also make a difference. Certain vitamins are water soluble, which means they can seep into the water when boiling or steaming. In these cases, tossing the water means tossing the vitamins. However, if you boil veggies for a soup and keep the water for the broth, then you retain most of the benefits. On the other hand, some nutrients actually become more bioavailable when cooked. Cooking breaks down the fibrous walls of plant foods, which makes it easier for you to absorb certain nutrients that are closely bound to parts of the plant that are difficult to digest. If you cook tomatoes, for example, the amount of bioavailable lycopene and phytonutrients increases. So if you consume your tomatoes cooked, it takes fewer tomatoes for you to get the same amount of lycopene than it would if you ate them raw. Conclusion: eating a variety of fresh and cooked foods is your best bet.
Oh, that's so weird. Because I thought you should just eat all raw for reasons. It's like this idea that like raw food is somehow more natural, quote unquote. And as we all know, if something's natural, that means it's good, right? That's not a logical fallacy at all.
Because we had kind of gone down this like natural path and like natural healing, we were kind of like not against doctors, but just like we were skeptical to go to one.
Going to natural methods. For me, this is about nature and finding the true nature and not fighting nature and learning and understanding the laws of nature for myself as a life scientist myself.
I went to some doctors, they're naturopathic doctors. I started to see a new doctor. She was a naturopath. I found a doctor who She's plant-based and is a gastroenterologist, and she suggested to take the antibiotics and to follow a vegan diet. Throughout this whole time, I haven't taken antibiotics because I want to heal the most natural way.
The second thing they all have in common,
I decided to do a 25-day water fast. I only drank water for 25 days. But one thing that did happen after my water fast was that I lost my period. I did juice cleanses.
Juice fasting, water fasting.
That culminated in me doing a fast, a 35-day water fast.
again, why?
I don't know.
What medical professional recommends not eating food?
For a month. If you're a healthy young person, what is the point of not eating food for extended periods of time?
And we know people who've done this water fast, and I think their intentions are good in the sense that they believe that it's a healthy thing to do.
But a lot of times it almost seems like a challenge.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get through these. I'm gonna get through this month with no food. And a lot of them say the same thing. They're like, yeah, first 3 days, really rough. Super rough first 3 days. But then it gets a little better. It's like you're challenging your own body.
I mean, I guess people do it to lose weight. I've heard of a philosophy behind water fasting for people who are suffering from immune disorders. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, just stuff I've heard.
But again, if you're a young 20-something healthy person,
Yeah.
what?
Why?
Eat food.
Don't starve yourselves, guys.
I was basically anemic.
A really big imbalance with my omega-3 to omega-6 ratio.
I was essentially low and deficient in almost everything. There are sources of omega-3, obviously, on a plant-based diet, but the difference is that they are ALA, they're made up of ALA, which can be converted to EPA and DHA, but only a very, very small percentage is actually converted.
The American Dietetics Association, which is the largest body of nutrition professionals in the world, says that a well-planned vegan diet is suitable for all stages of life, including pregnancy, old age, for athletes. Here you are saying that you're not getting enough omegas.
Oh, you can't convert enough. And you can. Dr. Greger recommends 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed every day for the very reason of converting ALA into DHA and EPA. But let's just say it's impossible to get the EPA and DHA you need from plant-based sources. You can take an algae-based supplement. Rather than pay someone to murder fish, you can take a supplement. And then we're going to get the pushback, well, it's not natural, man. Because,
When is algae not natural?
I don't know. Since when is the internet natural? Since when is YouTubing natural? There's a lot of modern day things that these YouTubers are happy to take part in. And then when it comes to their diet, all of a sudden it has to be natural.
Yeah.
Because natural is good, but unnatural is bad. Except for when I'm able to make a lot of AdSense revenue. Then unnatural is very good.
My brain was just like off. Like it wasn't functioning properly. I didn't feel like myself. I still didn't feel like I could articulate myself and convey myself and like connect creatively, or like I just felt like my cognitive function was like lacking significantly.
Has anyone ever seen Earthling Ed or that vegan couple? Vegan for many years.
Yeah.
Very eloquent.
What are those people doing
talk.
differently?
Can formulate thoughts, quick on their feet.
Yeah.
Can communicate effectively.
Yeah. What makes them more special? What makes us more special?
I guess they're superheroes, or were they bitten by radioactive spiders, or I don't know what happened.
Of course, I was sourcing them locally and organic and cage-free and pasture-raised.
I also want to note that I'm not supporting factory farming. Everything that I have been consuming is grass-fed, wild-caught, pasture-raised, organic, and locally sourced when possible.
The good old paying lip service to factory farming.
Oh yeah, that means horrible.
Yeah. Oh, those lucky grass-fed cows that volunteered to give their lives for you.
Oh, it's wild-caught salmon. Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, those salmon, they don't feel pain, or they don't value their lives, or they're somehow healthier for you because they have the exact same cholesterol and saturated fat content as farmed salmon. And of course, the grass-fed beef thing, like as we know, grass-fed beef is like 4 times worse for the planet than factory farmed beef, and it's way more resource intensive, and it's the same animal flesh.
The slaughterhouse where we hold vigil all they take in are grass-fed cows. And the suffering that we see is no different.
It's amazing how many people don't eat factory farmed meat when over 90% of it worldwide is factory farmed.
Yeah, no one eats
that
factory.
meat. No one eats those eggs. No one eats that cheese. That's horrible. The third thing that they seem to have in common is like bouncing from fad to fad.
I switched back to cooked vegan food. I tried high carb, low fat, high carb.
80-10-10, high carb, low fat. I've done high fat. I've done whole food plant-based for years. I've done junk food vegan.
A lot of smoothies for breakfast and lunch, big high carb dinners. We stopped eating out. We cut out all fats, all oils, at low FODMAP, high fat.
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna do that.
That didn't work, so I'm gonna do this other thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
and
the
then
polar
I started
opposite.
feeling this way and that way, so I'm gonna add this in. And
It's this weird like hyper awareness of like, oh, I felt this way on Tuesday, but now I feel different on Wednesday. Yeah, you might feel different from day to day. I don't know. I don't feel identical every day. Depends on, did I go to the gym that day? How much sleep did I get? What's my mood like? What's going on in my life? How do I feel? I'm gonna super hyper criticalize everything that goes into my body and try to find the most optimum thing.
isn't that called orthorexia?
Yes, the obsession
With
eating healthy eating. We're not really sure why the bouncing between fads. I'm guessing it has something to do with YouTube views and clicks and jumping on a bandwagon and, you know, whatever the case may be. Again, there's no such thing as a high carb vegan or a low carb vegan or a raw vegan. So veganism per se did not cause these problems with their health.
Just in the span of a couple months, we've had this handful of vegan YouTubers come out with these I'm no longer vegan videos. How odd is that? That all, like, they would all do so at around the same time.
It's almost like the no longer vegan video thing is a trend. And it's almost like these YouTubers like to jump from trend to trend.
Number 4.
I got candida.
I had a high candida infection, like stupid high levels.
She said, I think you have SIBO.
SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. A bacterial overgrowth, a bacterial imbalance in my gut, intestinal permeability, parasites.
How odd that all these raw eaters experience the same ailments. Your gut bacteria is fully dependent on what you put into your gut.
Or don't put in it. It's completely to do with how healthy or unhealthy your diet is.
There's actually a really good podcast episode on the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine podcast called Exam Room, all about gut bacteria. Strongly suggest you check it out. I'm sure we'll get people in the comments saying, well, I'm vegan and I have SIBO or I have candida. But our point is we're vegan and
I'm vegan. I've never
we
had
don't.
candida or SIBO. My anecdote outweighs your anecdote. You can choose to live a healthy lifestyle or you can choose to live an unhealthy lifestyle. But again, veganism is not to blame. Numero 5, weird environmental factors?
Essentially, I was experiencing symptoms that were a result of my external environment, which had toxic mold in it.
I lived in 4 places in 3 months. I was under stress because I wasn't stable. I was traveling, I probably wasn't sleeping well, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna maybe change my workouts.
I was also having a lot of problems with some family stuff going on. I opened up and talked about that with you guys, about my mum.
Just throwing all this other stuff in as though that somehow explained why a vegan diet wrecked their health.
Because those things do exist. Toxic mold is a thing and people get sick from it. But, you know...
What's it have to do with veganism?
The way like research experiments work is that you have a control group and you have an experimental group. And you can't test for more than one variable at a time.
Right.
So you can't say that veganism caused your health problems if you were also exposed to toxic mold. How can you accurately draw that conclusion?
Fish and eggs cures toxic mold exposure. Apparently. Fish and eggs and meat. Because raw alignment, much like Bonnie Rebecca, she doesn't think that fish is meat for some reason.
I've been consuming meat and fish and eggs.
The reason I'm eating eggs and fish and not like chicken and meat is because I don't feel comfortable eating chicken and meat. Ethically, I feel okay with that decision. I feel okay with the eggs that I'm buying and the fish that I'm sourcing.
Número 6. Sex drive and other anecdotal BS.
Another massive change, a massive benefit for me has been that I have a sex drive now.
Joey Carbstrong brought this up in his response to Tim Sheaf. Tim Sheaf said he didn't orgasm for several months, and then he ate salmon and then had a nocturnal emission.
The first night after I had that salmon, I had a wet dream. I hadn't ejaculated in months.
That is the most bro science thing I've ever heard in my life. That's like the equivalent of saying, you know what, for several months, I didn't sleep very well. I only slept for 4 hours a night. I was working super hard. I slept for 4 hours a night for several months. Then I went to Veggie Grill. I ate a Beyond Burger. That night, I slept for 12 hours. So Beyond Burgers promote good sleep. And on a more serious note, here's the thing that Joey Carbstrong brought up that I think is very serious and what struck me about what Raw Alignment said. I don't know if she or Tim Sheaf realize what they're doing here by associating one of the most pleasurable human experiences on Earth, sex, an orgasm, with paying someone to kill innocent animals for an unnecessary purpose. That's such a horrible thing that I'm not even really going to accuse Raw Alignment or Tim Sheaf of doing that on purpose, because
I don't think they...
no one would do that.
Yeah.
That's just such a despicable thing. Tim Sheaf, Raw Alignment, Bonnie Rebecca, Rawvana, a lot of their viewers are young and their hormones are raging, and sex is very important to young people. And it's no different than like the Carl's Jr. ad where they hypersexualize food. They take a model and they put her in a bikini and they have her eat a piece of cow flesh so that you associate sexual pleasure with taste pleasure. And what you're doing is you're associating sex with violence.
This is no coincidence, by the way. That's the first thing we learn, us actors, when we take a commercial acting class. We learn to take apart commercial scripts. You know, what is the underlying message? Watch a McDonald's commercial and a family in the restaurant laughing over dead animal parts. They're trying to communicate that McDonald's is a family-friendly, unifying environment. There is a science behind commercials and this kind of subliminal advertising. It's purposeful. They know how to get to you. Her attitude is so flippant.
Guys, my sex drive is unreal.
We're talking about killing innocent animals here.
Even her thumbnail. Her thumbnail's got her like smiling with "I'm not vegan." Replace the victim, as Luca from That Vegan Couple always says. What if her thumbnail said, "I'm not anti-slavery. I'm not anti-homophobia. I'm not anti-sexist." You're saying I'm not vegan, meaning I'm not living an ethical lifestyle that values the life of sentient animals. And you're grinning. Again, I don't necessarily want to accuse Raw Alignment
well,
of
these people,
having this...
They haven't been to vigils, they haven't stood outside slaughterhouses, they haven't watched animals die in front of them, which we have. They haven't made the connection. They're simply not vegan. So stop listening to them like they are vegan. If you think you're going vegan for dietary reasons, then you're plant-based. That's it.
And as we always say, whatever gets you to vegan is fine. If you begin your vegan journey seeking to improve your health, awesome. If you begin your vegan journey seeking to improve the planet and the environment, climate change, awesome. Once you make that connection, the ethical connection to the animals, you don't go back on it. There is no such thing as "I'm no longer vegan."
So why are we even talking about this? Why are we bothering? And we've said this before, and that is to even out the playing field. These are people who have a large influence. They have hundreds of thousands. Rawvana has 2 million followers. And this is information that they're putting out there that is being taken seriously by some people.
Yeah, Rawvana, Raw Alignment, they have massive power and thus massive responsibility, as we always say. And to Raw Alignment's credit, she did say that she understands that she has this massive responsibility, and so she sort of added an addendum at the end there that was like, don't do as I do.
I'm not trying to get you to do what I am doing. Just because I am shifting my diet and my lifestyle in some ways does not mean that you need to even attempt anything that I am attempting.
Young people are impressionable and they will follow the example of people they look up to. You're normalizing animal cruelty. And you're basically saying, without saying, it's okay to pay people to kill animals for an unnecessary reason because of all of these health issues that have nothing to do with veganism.
Just remember that we are more than the food that we eat. Let that sink in.
It's not food. It's violence. So that is what we have on this topic.
Veganism did not cause their health problems. You can choose to live a healthy lifestyle. You can choose to live an unhealthy lifestyle. On average, are vegans healthier than non-vegans? Yes. Are vegan diets, on average, preventative from our #1 killers and diseases? Yes. But if you want to be an unhealthy vegan, you can do it.
Set up.
Yes.
Ton of oil to your food. Lots of processed foods.
Some people choose to screw up their vegan diet with oil. Some people choose to screw it up with fruit. You can screw it up however you want.
Don't do it, though.
Please don't do it. So if you guys like this video, please click that thumbs up button down below. That really helps us out. And if you haven't already, subscribe. And make sure you slam that notification bell. That way you'll be notified every single time we put out a new video.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and check out our Etsy store for some new vegan swag.
Whoa! And as always, guys, a huge heartfelt thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. You guys continue to support us and allow us to do the activism that we are doing here in the LA area.
Patty and Max's new house is self-funded, but thanks in part to you and your wonderful support.
And if you like what we do and you would like to support us, the Patreon link is in the description below.
Bye!
Bye. Woo!
Can I reiterate one thing? Guys, when you comment,
Don't ask them. They're not going to do it. If they're not going to do it, they're not going to do it.
use sources.
We can
Just
ask.
use sources.
We can ask a million times. If people aren't going to do it, they're
You know,
not going to
it's
do
so funny. We present unbiased sources, and we literally have people being like, "No, that's wrong."
it. This has been long debunked. Or this has been proven. Or this is false.
That's not a source.
That's not a source.
And we don't take those comments seriously.
This is not a channel of bikinis and smoothie bowls. Unfortunately for you. Because I look pretty good in a bikini. I'm just saying. European cut Speedo.
No.
No! That's how I play volleyball. I wear the Speedo.
No, he doesn't.
I don't at all.
No. It's okay if you want to wear a Speedo. Not you, but other people.
You're worth it to